Music and Sound Theory class was brought to you by Musicians Playlist, building a professional music community with passion and performance.
Media Limited, the company has an audio studio with world-class certified audio engineer and graduates, a photo studio with the latest photography equipment like Canon 7D, Divakino floodlights, softbox, umbrella flash, etc. A HD 6.4-bit video editing studio with ultra-modern softwares and facilities, a graphic designing suite for corporate branding, billboards, flyer and poster, and different cards for different events. Finally, an outdoor and indoor mobile live equipment for concerts, shows, and events range from lights, Passes A, moving headlights, lasers, 4-bar, 4-play, that, smoke fogs machines, HD video cameras, live editing video machines and projector, and sound reinforcement. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you E.C. Charles, CEO, M-Touch Media. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everybody. Let me start by saying a big thank you to the organizers of this event. If you've been in the space where you have a privilege of organizing an event like this, you will know that it's not a very easy task to coordinate from start to finish. Mr. Albert and your team, I want to say God bless you. So, we live in a world where a whole lot of people seek for early satisfaction. A whole lot of people want to relax and be taken care of in a very early stage of life, where dignity of labor is no more like it was before. So everybody would just want to wake up. You don't want to stress yourself. You don't want to go through pain, but you just want to live the soft life. Yes, I don't have a problem with that, but it doesn't take the fact that smart work, working hard, it's important. So, before I get into what I have to say for the day, I think the best way to deal with the topic I'm supposed to handle this evening is my biography is okay to deal with the topic, which I'm going to be talking about apprenticeship and its benefits. So, years back, I love music very, very much. And we started out from church, as usual. Play the drums, play the keyboard and all that. So at the time, the choir and all that happens around church music industry. So at the time, I was still wondering, I started asking myself, how do we get more out of this? Because I was looking for more. It's not just coming to church every day, back and front every day. I started asking myself, how do we monetize this thing? How do we monetize this thing that we are doing? So I started looking for more. And that craving for more led me to the place of apprenticeship. Do you understand what I said now? The craving for more led me into the place of apprenticeship. So I wanted to know what's far beyond what we are doing in church. We sing every day. We listen to people's song. Everything is sounding clean. Everything is sounding so nice, so refined. Then I said, I need to know how these people do this thing. That was the first thing that moved me into, or that helped me develop my passion when it has to do with sound engineering. Yes. Why I said that, because I played the keyboard. So it now pushed me to the point where I wanted to learn more about this thing. How do we get clean, refined sounds from these machines and from these engines? So I started out little. I started by using, think, I had access to PSR 630. It's a very old model, but as of then, it was top notch. So I was attending a fellowship back then, GYMI, Gospel Youth. So I was the person, the keyboard is always with me. So I started out trying to use the keyboard and a diskette to do some programming little by little. So little by little, I started mastering the act of using this system to produce good sounds. Then that's what opened up an opportunity for me. I'm trying to share how I got into everything I'm doing today because I feel like it's the best way to explain this thing. So when I started doing this, jokingly, somebody listening to some of those sounds I produced from the keyboard and said, can you do this thing for me? That was the very first time I went to a musical studio with something I produced on a diskette, and somebody wants to wax it into an album. Are you seeing the developmental stages from church? Then I started deviating because I feel like, not deviating out of what, but I wanted more. Because this craving for more is very, very important. When I mean very, very important, it's just the driving force that will tell you, this is not the best of me. I need to take it a little bit step forward. So that's how I went into the studio for the very first time with a little product I have on a diskette. Took it to the studio. That was my first attempt of being in a studio. After the whole recording and everything went fine, and everything was kind of refined in the studio. Me, I was wondering, so this thing can be as nice as this. So after that encounter, something happened along the line. The owner of the studio asked the person that brought me to this studio, who is this guy? What does he do? Is he free now? Can he work with me? So that was my first level of apprenticeship. So it now brings me to what we have for the day. What's the meaning of apprenticeship? So whenever we are talking about apprenticeship, there are simple words that comes to mind. You think of service, you think of mentorship, you think of training. So there are other related words like internship. So it's almost, but when it comes to apprenticeship, it's quite a practical version of the training. That's what apprenticeship is all about. But apprenticeship comes with incentives. What do I mean by incentives? Sometimes when you are serving under the person, you have the privilege of having a roof under your head. If the person has such capacity, you have the privileges of getting little stipend after probably you did well, or take this. So, but the truth about it is that you need to first of all open up your mind that you want more. That is the only thing, or the passion that will drive you into, okay, I want to serve under this person. I think I like what this guy carries. I think I like the direction he's moving in life. I think he has something I'm attracted to. So learning under his mentorship. It was a very nice experience working under him at a time. And I served under someone that is so influential at a time, because time and seasons vary. As of that time, if you're talking about music in the Southeast, as of then, you can only refer to only just one name. So for people that know a group called Psalmists, way back, Psalmists, glorious singers, before the glorious singers went apart into African vocals and other. So I was privileged to serve under this young man. He was so gifted, so talented. But me, I opened up my mind for what I came to do. So I was serious about what I came to do. And I learned the job. I was good on my job. I was good on my job. And the job paid off. And it's still paying off till today. So it's a progressive thing. Sometimes when God shows you a vision, or when you have a passion to get into something, you don't see things clearer from where you are. But as you take one step forward, you see that the small thing I saw is getting bigger as the day goes. So when I got into the production space, I learned to a very reasonable extent, and it got to a point where I had a leading in my spirit, it's time to go. And a whole lot of factors contributed to that, but it's good I talk about it a little, because in the place of apprenticeship, if you don't know what you're looking for, you might be discouraged along the line. Do you understand what I said? You might be serving under somebody, but your mind is that this guy is treating me bad. But my mind at that time was not this guy is treating me bad. My mind is, let me learn everything this guy knows how to. If you want, treat me bad. If you want, do whatever you want to do, but I want to know what he knows. It got to a point where I knew that I've gotten to a very reasonable extent, because everything that has to do with technology and life in general evolves. So it's not a stagnant water that doesn't move around. So things evolve. So I got to that point where I now said, okay, I look aside, I push aside all the bad characters and all the bad things I've been getting as environmental discouragement, because in life, imbalances, challenges of life can lead to frustration. So it got to that point, but I decided within myself to be happy. What I mean to be happy, I derive joy from what I do. I derive joy from the satisfaction I get from me being able to grow myself from this level to another stage in my life. So, and when it got to that point and I decided to leave, it was like the end of the road at that time, but I didn't know that it was an opening as well. I served under this person for like up to 3 years, and after my training, so they said, okay, let's place you on a salary so that you can be committed to your job and give out your best. I said, okay, no problem. They decided to pay me salary, and the salary was small at the time, but it was big money at the time too. So I got my first month salary. I was happy. You understand? As somebody working, I was excited. Then for all the rest of the other period of time I served on, I didn't get that salary. And I left happy. I left not being bitter, because I know within my heart that I got the best. And that was the major thing that threw me to limelight in the music industry. I've been able, by the special grace of God, to work with almost all the celebrities that moved out of the Southeast. I've been privileged to work with them one-on-one. I knew them when they never knew that I can be somebody. So it was a privilege working with those people, and I still appreciate that privilege till this very moment. So, and as I now I left the office, I started exploring other spaces that has to do with the same field of endeavor. And when I started exploring other spaces, I started asking myself, there's more to this. From there, I was able to work as a freelance, and I was able to save up money to start up my company, M-Touch Multimedia. So that company started in one corner of my house. Yes, it started from one corner of my house. It was a joke at a time, but if I tell you how many people that graced that one corner of the house because of the gifting or the talent or the skill set I've been able to improve, if I tell you the number of people I've worked with, it's something like, if I remember how all those things went, and if somebody ever told me that this small thing will turn big, I will never agree to that. So from that one corner of my house, I worked for around a year, and I said, no, we have to move this crowd. I have to get a space, separate my house from my office. So, but during those times, a whole lot of things was happening. A whole lot of young people came around me at a time. They were interested in knowing what I know, and I had the privilege of sharing the same knowledge with them. Some of those people are still making livelihood through that same channel, because I believe that through apprenticeship, graces are being transferred. Do you understand what I said now? Through service, graces are being transferred. Like, you can just make light of this thing, but you won't know that you keep admiring this thing. One day you find out that I'm that same thing I'm admiring, because your passion is driving you towards the right direction to go for what you want. So we need to change our mentality. We need to change the way we think so that we can change the way we live. So from that point where I started thinking of moving my office from one corner of my house to a place, I started saving up resources. Little by little, I was able to move my business to my first location somewhere around Abani Road. It was strategic at that time. It was just, if you tell somebody you're coming to my office, just tell the person opposite Mr. Biggs. We started out with audio studio. From the audio studio, we started the photo studio as well. From the photo studio, we moved into the video session as well. From then, we got into printing and all that. So I was following the trend as of that time. I now saw that technology is compressing every day. That time, I'm not sure there's any music studio currently in Nigeria that uses a desktop system, unless it's a workstation, like a high-speed workstation. I find out that everything is now converting from hardware into software. That time, when you go to the normal analog studios, if you see machines, and they tell you, can you ever have a music studio? You know that you need to have money to have a studio. Because if you see the number of gadgets in that, you'll be scared. So, but I was privileged to interface between the old and new. So I was evolving while things were evolving. Because I didn't stop where my Oga stopped. I decided to move. It got to a point where my Oga called me one day. I said, where are you? I want to see you. What is that thing that you used to do in a song that makes it sound different? I told him, I don't do anything. No. There's nothing. It's just the normal things, but it's just the way I handle them. So improving on yourself is very, very important. Improving on your skills is very, very important. So as a musician, whether you are playing in church or outside church, improving on yourself is very, very important, because you don't know where that gift will take you to. Don Seth just finished speaking not too long ago. Don Seth served under me. So he's one of the people that learned one or two things under me. He lived in Enugu at a time, but he was in Aba. Because of his passion, he had to move from Aba to Enugu to come and learn. And he never knew that thing that he was doing in one corner of his house at that time as well will take him to where he is. Don Seth currently is traveling around the world with Davido. If Davido is in America now, Don Seth is there because he's the guy behind the quad play band. He's the manager for quad play band. Apart from the quad play band, we talk about the May Vibe, which is a music promotion platform, which he bettered from. So, but for my own case, when I saw that things started evolving, what I did is that, what's the next level? What's the next phase into this thing that we are doing now as a business? That's when I started translating all the things I learned from my computer softwares into live production. So majorly right now, I'm still into music, but I'm into live productions. If you want to do anything that has to do with live music production, I have solutions to any level you want currently. I have solutions to any level you want currently. So don't take apprenticeship lightly. If you have a passion for something, if there's a need for you to know more, if there's a need for you to invest your time more into that part of your life, invest time. It's worth it. You're not going to regret it. I'm telling you, in act, just all you need to do is to be patient. Follow the process. Be patient. Follow the process, because serving under people is not as easy the way you see it from afar off. He works with this person. Some of them are very, very difficult, but if I want to know something, be difficult, I'll still be patient and get all the wisdom and all the knowledge I need to move my life to the next level. So that's how I now started seeing that everybody that has a laptop has a studio. That's where I said, this business has scattered. Yes. Because I got to the point where I just find out that people just come to the studio, carry their laptop. Hey, my beat is ready. Just put your microphone. I just want to voice. They'll bring you. I said, okay, if it's what you want to do. So when I saw that trend, I started, please, this thing is no more giving me the results I want, because it's just like somebody doing the job halfway and telling you to complete it. It's still lucrative, but when you get the whole package, it's different. So when I saw that trend, I said, okay, let me move this thing. Can we translate this thing into the live space? As of 2014, that was the very first time I ventured into live sound. What I mean by venturing, I brought out money to buy equipment to start this thing. And I was looking for the best at that time, because I know I have an audience to attend to. And that audience, if you are not able to deliver class, if you're not able to deliver quality, you might not meet up the test of time. So as of that 2014, I made the first procurement of equipment worth around $13,000 as of 2014. So that time, I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just working. If I work, I gather the money, convert it into dollars. I keep paying for things in America. So my friend helped me that time in America. I was buying and keeping in his house. When he got to the point where he told me my house is filled up with equipment. So I said, okay, find a way. Let's ship down all the stuff we have available. So that's how I got into live sound. And that same field of work has been a blessing to my life. If I've ever had any amount of money, like any big amount of money, it's still this same music production that has produced it. I'm thankful to God for bringing me this far, because it's not by strength, and God is still keeping me alive, and we are still pushing. So whatever you do, don't make light of apprenticeship. If you have the privilege of serving, serve well, know all that you need to know. And when you are done with that part of your service, you find out that what happens to you is that job is being created. In the workspace today in the world, whenever you're talking about, I want to look for a job, they're asking for experience. Apprenticeship gives you experience on the job. Apprenticeship gives you experience while you are training. So you don't struggle while other people are struggling. Imagine that I want to be an architect. Maybe I've not even gotten admission into the university, but I'm already under an architect that is practicing. I already know little by little. I'm getting to know all the things involved in that part of expertise. By the time you enter school, you find out that some of the things that we'll be teaching you in class, it will be easy for you to translate, because you already know the practical aspects of what you are studying. So it makes things easy for you. So let me not take much of your time, because I feel like this program has lasted more than it was. So, but I want to encourage you, be willing to serve, be willing to work on yourself, be willing to improve yourself. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, sir.